In today's Necron Army Showcase video, I'm going to show you all of the miniatures that I painted in 2024. And it's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, today we are continuing my Necron Army Showcase series of videos. I've showcased all of the miniatures that I've painted since I started in 2001, yes, a long time ago. And today I'm going to showcase all of the miniatures which I built and painted last year. I only painted Necron miniatures this year, so I did a reasonable amount, everything that you see on the table. So without further ado, hit the like button and let's do it. Now, for reference, we are of course in 10th edition, but if you're watching this video in quite a few years' time, you may not know that. So yeah, we're in 10th edition, and 10th edition saw some new miniatures come out for Necrons, and that's where we're going to start. So, first of all, we have Imotekh the Stormlord. A very cool upgraded miniature from the original Finecast one. And I really liked this miniature. Actually, Imotekh is one of my favourite characters. I really liked him when he came out, and that's mainly because of the rules. He had some really cool rules when he first came out. He used to be able to do lightning strikes at the beginning of each turn, and that was a lot of fun. I painted my Imotekh just like I did originally, tried to duplicate my colours. However, because he has this really cool cloak, I decided to give him a little extra to his cloak. So that purple isn't on my original cloak, and I tried this two-toned sort of effect. I quite like it. I don't know how much I like it, but I like it. Also, you'll notice I've got a green staff on my Imotekh, and actually he's the only character with a green staff, mainly because he was my favourite character at the time, so I thought I would make him stand out from the other characters and gave him a really cool green staff. I did a slightly better paint job on this staff than I did my original 5th edition Imotekh, mainly because, of course, my skills have improved. So Imotekh the Stormlord was one of our first characters. However, he wasn't our only character, because we also got a brand new Orikan the Diviner. Now, I didn't own an original Finecast Orikan miniature. I only had one which I converted from an old Cryptek. However, I painted this guy the best I could to match that miniature. I've kept my usual gold theme for the armour on my models, and of course the blue for Orikan. I gave him this really cool blue staff which I thought came out really well. I did some sort of glow effects. Of course, there are painting tutorials for all of these miniatures on the table for you to check out, and I'll link those videos in the description below. Now, I've only played Orikan once in 10th edition, however I do have a new list with Orikan in, so I'm going to be playing him a little bit more on the channel, which I'm looking forward to. Playing recently painted miniatures is always fun. Now, the next character we had was the Translocation Shroud Overlord, and I have 3 of these because I did some conversion work. Now, this one in the middle is the original miniature, not converted at all. This one here is the one which I converted using different arms for him, but the rest is the same. And then the leftover bits from this guy I used on this one. I had a piece left over from a third-party Nightbringer which I made. It was actually an extra piece which wasn't supposed to be there, and I wanted to try to use it, and this guy seemed to be the ideal guy to do it with. I think the third conversion works really well. He obviously is translocating in or out, I'm not quite sure which one. You can still see the Overlord. The dimensions, the size of the miniatures are all the same, so it works. So those were the first miniatures that I painted, and I mainly did those because, of course, we have new characters to paint. I then started to work on models which I needed to play my games. The first ones were Deathmarks. At the time we were playing Leviathan rules, and I was using quite a few Deathmarks for secondaries, but I only had 7 Deathmarks in my army. A bit of an odd number, I know, but I wanted to, of course, change that. So first of all, I did 3 Deathmarks and I did them with a green rod in the gun. These 3 were to go with my other 7, and I have green rods in these because when these models came out, they were one of the first miniatures without green rods, and I didn't like that, so I went a bit crazy and I converted them with green rods. However, I've got over that now. Although I do still like green rods, I don't have to have green rods in all my miniatures. So I did a second set of Deathmarks, and this time I just left the guns as they were. So this gave me 13 Deathmarks painted last year. The unit of 10 are also on the Wargaming exclusive Necron Tomb World bases, which are really, really cool. I like those bases, and it just makes them look a little bit different. So I've got 2 units and they look very different from each other. I've also painted these bases differently. I've got 5 glowing and 5 not glowing, so I can split the unit into 2 if I want to. Same with the other unit here. I've got 5 with nothing on the base and 5 with rocks on the base. So that gives me 2 units of 10 Deathmarks. My plan was to get another 10 Deathmarks at some point in the future. That actually came sooner than I thought it would. More on that later in the video. Okay, so next up it's Immortals. I wanted to add some Immortals to my army because at the time I only had 2 units of 10 Gauss Reaper miniatures, and they were the old metal miniatures. So I wanted some more modern miniatures, and also I wanted some Tesla miniatures. Now, I had a very kind subscriber a few years ago who gave me a whole bunch of Necrons, and I've been gradually working on that pile of Necrons that he gave me. A lot of them were sort of eBay rescue miniatures, so I had some work to do with them, but that is what I did next. I got all of those Immortals which I was given, and I worked on them. In total, I built and repaired 30 Immortals. Actually, the 10 Deathmarks were from that pile as well, and again I had to do quite a few repairs to the Deathmarks as well, which I forgot to say. So 2 units of Tesla Immortals and 1 unit of Gauss Blaster Immortals. It's really nice to be able to use Tesla Immortals now. I haven't really been able to do it in the past without proxying other models for them. So the first unit I've got on my standard bases, and the second unit I put on the Wargaming exclusive Tomb World bases, but I painted them differently. I painted the bases green this time rather than silver like on the Deathmarks, mainly because I was experimenting with the bases. I wanted to try a few things out. I like the green better, I think, than I do the silver, but both look very cool. Again, I've painted the bases so that I can split them into 2 units of 5, which I did on all 3 units of Immortals. And then, as I said, I've got a unit of Gauss Blaster models as well. They were part and parcel of the pile of models which I was given, and it's nice to have them as an alternative. So this gives me 50 Immortals altogether. I've got 20 with Tesla carbines and 30 with Gauss Blasters. A reasonable amount. However, in 2024, it didn't quite stop there with the Immortals. More to come on that in a bit. Okay, so the next project I wanted to do for a very long time, quite a number of years actually, and I finally did this project, and that was this guy here, my Tomb Sentinel stroke Tomb Stalker, because it is magnetised, and I did it just before Games Workshop put it to Legends. I made this guy using Necron Wraiths. He has converted from Necron Wraiths, and I went to town on him, gave him a really cool base, and I had a lot of fun building and painting this miniature. I have only used it once. Even though it's Legends, I am still going to use it. I don't really play in tournaments, but it was still disappointing that he went to Legends. As I said, I have magnetised him, so I've got the different options, which include the head, so you can take the head off, and then these 2 claws here. So we've got the different head, which I can just pop into place, and then we've got the 2 guns here and here. There we go. So we have both options, which is always very useful. As I said, I had a lot of fun with this miniature, GW, why have you made it Legends? Because it is one of our most coolest miniatures that we have. However, that is what it is, and there's not a lot we can do about it. I mean, we can still play it as long as we're not playing in tournaments. Now, talking of tournaments, I had my Dominion War tournament approaching, and I wanted to try something a little different in that tournament. I wanted to try 3 Transcendent C'tans. Now, of course, Transcendent C'tans are quite difficult to get hold of because Games Workshop don't sell them separately. This is my original one from my Tesseract vault. I have one vault. And then I had to do the unthinkable and buy some 3D printed ones. So yeah, I bought some fake ones effectively. We have 2 which I bought. We've got this guy here which I built and painted, along with this guy here. To be fair, it's quite difficult to actually tell them apart. I mean, the 3D printed ones are actually slightly bigger, which I had to compensate with the size of the base. So I've got a smaller plastic stem on the 3D printed ones, just to make them all the same height. And of course I painted them all slightly differently with different colours, just to set them apart. I had a lot of fun playing with these 3 models. It was 1,000 points. I had these 3 and 2 Hexmark destroyers in a pairs tournament. It was just a fun tournament. I've got the tournament review video linked in the description below, so yeah, check it out if you're interested. Okay, so let's put these back. Actually, not him, because he wasn't part of the models, which I did last year. However, we've got this guy here, who was. Now, Wargaming Exclusive actually sponsored my tournaments, which I did, and they sent me some models to give away as prizes. And they also sent me this guy as well to review on the channel. This is the General Grievous Necron model, of course based on Star Wars. However, I did convert it. So he originally comes with these really cool scythes. It actually make quite a good Scorpec Lord proxy, to be fair. However, I wanted an extra Hexmark destroyer because I only had 2. My aim is to get the maximum amount of units for each of the unit entries. So yeah, I wanted 3 Hexmark destroyers. So I converted this guy into a Hexmark destroyer and I gave him all of these guns. He's got, of course, his 6 guns. At the back there you can see you've got the General Grievous styled cloak. He's standing on a commissar which I've painted, and I did loads of blood effects. I really like this guy. He's been a lot of fun. As yet, I haven't played him. I haven't played much over the last couple of months because of the time of year with Christmas and stuff, but I'm going to be gaming again very soon, and hopefully I'm going to get a lot of games in. So like I said, that's from Wargaming Exclusive. I've showcased quite a few other Wargaming Exclusive miniatures on the channel previously, but not only did they send me the General Grievous miniature, they sent me some other miniatures as well. And this is where I surprisingly added more Deathmarks and more Immortals to the army. So first they sent me their conversion kits. What they do is they do a very cool body with a cloak, as you can see here, and they're conversion kits, so you don't get no arms with them. The idea is that when you build your Immortals stroke Deathmarks, because of course it's a kit where you can build the miniatures as one or the other, and then you always end up with the arms left over from the kits that you don't build. Well, these are designed to put those arms on, so all your spare arms you can make more miniatures, which is a really cool idea. So I've got 5 more Deathmarks here, so that gives me 25 Deathmarks. So the long and short is I want to get another unit of these, so that would give me my 3rd unit of 10. They also gave me another kit, and it is a different kit because the Deathmarks have these orbs on the back, but the Immortal kit doesn't. Like I said, the back is slightly different because you've got the wire coming in to the models. Now I've made some review videos of these miniatures and some painting videos on all of these miniatures actually, so they're all linked in the description below. But yeah, Wargaming Exclusive, they do some really cool miniatures, not just Necron styled miniatures, Necro Cyborg as they call them, but they do other factions in 40k as well. But we haven't stopped there, because in the last 2 weeks of the year I managed to paint another 10 miniatures. Again, these are Wargaming exclusive miniatures. This is a new unit which they've just launched, and they sent them to me to build and review on the channel. And these are Necron Warriors with Gauss Flayers. I don't think I would have been able to paint any other unit within 2 weeks apart from these, and the main reason for that is these guys basically just have cloaks. There's not much metalwork to do, there's not much detailing to do. They're really easy to paint, but they look really, really cool. And I'm loving these scythes on the Gauss Flayers. And they rounded out my year of painting Necrons in 2024. A total of 72 miniatures. Not bad, if I may say so myself, especially where I spend most of my free time making YouTube videos. Now, this time next year, when I do 2026 showcase video, I have a feeling the pile of painted miniatures is going to be a lot smaller. And that's because, of course, a few things is happening this year. One, I'm going to be doing a commission. I'm painting Mortarion for Richard. It's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, of course, Emperor's Children is going to be coming out, and I want to continue with my Emperor's Children Slaanesh army. So yeah, I'm not sure how much I'm going to paint of Necrons this year, but I am going to start with Necrons. I'm going to complete my Triarch Stalkers. I've got 1 painted already. I want to get 2 more Triarch Stalkers to give me 3 units. So stay tuned for those videos coming soon. In the meantime, here is the playlist with all of the other Army Showcase videos for you to check out.